Yeah, so you know how I'm like weird and I just be reading random stuff at night?
Mm.
Well, the other night I went to the Social Security Administration website and it said that the retiree benefit, the survivors benefit, like they only have enough money to pay those until 2033. That's like 9 years from now without
Yeah.
policy change. Now, the government won't let that happen, but you know what they're going to do? They have to implement some kind of policy to change it. They already extended the age limit in which we can retire. So,
Yeah, I saw
isn't that crazy? But they're going to raise our taxes. Like, they're going to raise the Social Security and Medicare that's coming out of our paychecks.
that. Well, it's just gotten to be like pretty ridiculous how much we pay for that because it just keeps going up.
Well, Social Security doesn't keep going up, it stays the same. It's 6.2%. Like you pay 6.2%, and then your employer matches you.
Mm-hmm.
So every time your employer gives you a paycheck, they're contributing to your retirement. It's so important. So remember, well, you don't remember because you were a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when you were a baby and I was 17 and we lived in that tiny little efficiency, I went after your dad for child support. And when I did, I learned that because he was self employed, there was no record of any of his income. So I got the state minimum child support. That's
Mm-hmm.
what he was ordered to pay.
Yeah.
But I really didn't get it because he was hired under the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got that. And then, do you remember when he became disabled?
Yes.
Well, that survivor's benefit I'm talking about, when people become disabled or they die,
Yeah.
like that's so sad for me to think about someone losing their parent.
Yeah.
But when they lose their parent, that Social Security provides a survivor's benefit to that child until they're
Mm-hmm.
18. So when your dad became disabled, I called Social Security and I asked if you were eligible for a benefit. You weren't because he was self-employed.
Yeah.
So you didn't get that benefit and I didn't get that child support. And then that welfare check is not enough for people to live on.
No.
So he went back to work. Again, self-employed. And he was able to receive that welfare check for much longer than he should have. So
Yeah.
we inadvertently, not we personally, but some random business owner out there inadvertently helped this man avoid his child support, avoid paying into Social Security, and to stay on welfare longer than what he should have. All
Yeah.
while I, who decided to keep my baby, was just trying to go to school and make a living.
You know, and I feel like that's a lot more widespread of a problem. Like, there's whole like,
It is. Do you know how many friends I have who, yeah, it's bad, dude.
but like on TikTok and Instagram and shit, there's whole like entire communities of people that just tell you basically how to game welfare,
Yeah,
and just it's like basically, you know, you just do this, this, and this, and this is how you get it.
I know.
And there's all these like tips and tricks, like top 10 ways to.
And a lot of them are small business owners, aren't they?
I
Like
mean,
they're
it's
at,
just, from what I've seen, it's just people that are like, oh, well, if you want to get like on food stamps, all you have to do is this. You know, you can make, you know, this much money and still do it using, you know, this exploit basically.
that's unfortunate. I don't know what that is because I know the state of Florida, we're pretty. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that, when you're self employed, you have control over your own income. So you
Mm-hmm.
can then avoid things like that. You know what the craziest part is?
Mm-hmm.
As if they would have hired an employee instead of that contractor, it would have been cheaper. It would have been free advertising because that employee is branded, walking around with their t shirt on instead of supporting their own company,
Yeah.
which that's what happens when you hire a contractor.
Mm.
I'm very scared for Social Security. It's really,
Yeah, I've been hearing about it being doomed for a long time.
well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we sit there and say it's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. But the thing is
Yeah,
no one understands how it works. I'm telling you, they need a know what only you can save Social Security. Just like they did with the
yeah,
bear for the forest fires. That
yeah.
shit's needed.
Well, I mean, what would you say are the steps that are required for us to actually save it?
Well, business owners definitely, need to look at their contractors and ask
Mm-hmm.
themselves if they're trying to, I mean, if you're trying to grow a business, hire employees.
Mm-hmm.
And those people on fixed incomes, they're saving 20 or $30 by paying their the people who service their house, their handyman, their cleaner, their landscaping guy. They're paying them in cash or check, writing it out to their name, which is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they gave that business to a small business
Mm-hmm.
who has employees, then they're contributing to Social Security. They're making sure all them babies get their child support.
Yeah,
Like, our social welfare system was set up for us to maintain. The government is not going to maintain it for us. We can only
yeah.
save ourselves.
I mean, I just feel like with that and taxes in general, we're just kind of like throwing our money into like this big black box,
I know, you're
and
right.
it's just a big mystery what happens to it, and it's very frustrating. Like just not knowing where any of the money is
Is
actually
going.
going,
Yeah.
and like
That's what our politicians really need to focus on. Instead of changing the tax code this term, they really should just focus on where is it all going and cut out
mm-hmm,
all the extra spending and start paying down our debt. No tax changes. Do you know how overburdened our tax system is?
yeah.
No, you really don't know.
Well, I know. I mean, I don't know like the extent of it, but I'm very aware of how ineffective it is, which
Well,
is
that's because tax professionals are not regulated. You only have to be 18 and get a P10 off the internet. It takes about 15 minutes.
mm-hmm,
And then tomorrow, babe, you can be a tax professional. Or, you know what? You don't even have to do that. You can be a bookkeeper tomorrow making six figures even though you don't know anything. And do you know that those bookkeeping questions, everyone thinks they can do it themselves. But no, in order to know how to code those transactions, sometimes you have to have a basic understanding of law
mm-hmm,
and tax. Because whatever is in that company's corporate documents or those agreements, those loans that they signed, that impacts their accounting. Do you know?
yeah.
Really crazy. One person in my office does 12,000 transactions a day.
Doing what?
Bookkeeping
Oh my god.
for small businesses. But 12,000, they're like a very small piece of a math problem. And
Mm-hmm.
your tax return is the full piece.
Right.
So every single transaction is one little math word problem. And the legal part is the word, and the tax part is really the math. But no, they're both. They're both.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Do you know that there is a Florida statute that says if an LLC pays for it, if property is paid for with LLC funds, then it is property of the LLC. Do you know how many people make their mortgage payment out of their company?
Yeah. I mean, there's people that do a lot of things with their company money.
Well, it's only because there's really not that many good tax professionals. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. Real estate agents got to get a license. What other industry can you make six figures tomorrow with no education or diploma?
Uh, being a finance guru, telling people you have the secret to make money.
That's
But
silliness.
that's actually true though. You can literally just go on the internet and just say shit about making
Yeah.
money with no qualifications, and then everyone believes you and buys your course, and you're rich from the course, but you tell them that it's because you
You want to hear the
have the
funniest part
secret.
about that?
Huh?
all the advice that those people give, the self-help, the finance gurus, whatever, you can all find it for free in the Bible. It's the same information. I'm not even a Christian, but let me tell you what, it's in the Bible. You can read it. It's there.
I feel like the Bible is also like kind of like we heard about the monkey typewriters. If you have like an infinite amount of monkeys typewriting in a room forever, eventually all the random shit they smack on the keyboard, it'll all through the random sequences of letters, there'll be like books and stories and where Amelia Earhart landed.
What are you
Whether it was in
talking
the
about
ocean.
right now?
Well, I mean, just think about it. It'll
We
say,
went to some real conspiracy shit right
this
here.
isn't even a conspiracy. Let's just say that you have one monkey and it's just slamming a typewriter forever, like for an indefinite amount of time, well, infinite amount of time. And if you have, like, let's say you take an expert, eventually it's going to spell something like cat, but give it an infinite amount of time, one of those random sequences of letters is going to say something like, you know, the cat jumped over the fence.
Oh.
And then you give it enough time and it'll have books and stories and The Secret to Life and everything.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, just statistically, if you let something happen infinitely, anything that could happen will happen.
That's true.
So it's going to write Shakespeare. But my point with that is that the Bible just has so much shit in it that some of it is bound to stick.
Okay, well, don't use foul language. It's disrespectful when you're talking about someone else's religious. Be nice.
Well, I'm not using it in a derogatory way.
I know. Sorry, I'm your mom. I do these things.
I just also have a disposition to foul language.
Listen, only the cool people say
forgetting.
the F word. It's alright.
Yeah. I don't know. I just haven't had to have a filter in so long. Like ever.
I know, it's difficult. You should see
Yeah.
me at work. I can't help myself. myself.
Man, I was tired today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wasn't really tired today. I was.
Really very tired because I just got home and fell asleep for hours.
How do you think we did?
Probably fine. I don't see why not.